In the rolling hills of southeastern Anatolia, a profound secret lay buried for millennia. This ancient site, known as Göbekli Tepe, would radically alter our understanding of the past. It is a discovery that continues to echo through the halls of archaeology and history. The story of Göbekli Tepe begins not with ancient peoples, but with modern curiosity. In the 1960s, archaeologists first surveyed the hill but misinterpreted its significance. They saw what they believed to be a medieval cemetery, a place of rest from a much later time. The true nature of the site remained hidden, sleeping beneath a thin layer of soil. It wasn't until 1994 that the German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt cast a new, more insightful gaze upon the hill. Schmidt had a different intuition, a feeling that something much older was waiting there. He noticed that the limestone slabs littering the surface were not ordinary fieldstones. His experienced eyes suspected they were the work of human hands from a distant, prehistoric era data. With this conviction, Schmidt began excavations, peeling back the earth like the pages of a forgotten book. What he and his team unearthed would send shockwaves through the academic world. They found not a simple settlement, but a complex of massive stone circles. These structures were not haphazardly placed. They were deliberately and carefully constructed. The most striking features were the monolithic T-shaped pillars at their center. Some of these pillars soared to a height of 18 feet, a staggering achievement for their time. They were carved from single blocks of limestone, each weighing many tons. The sheer scale of the construction was breathtaking and posed an immediate, difficult question. How could a society without metal tools or the wheel accomplish such a feat? The people who built Göbekli Tepe were hunter-gatherers, not settled farmers as previously thought necessary for such projects. This discovery turned established theories of civilization on their head. It had long been assumed that agriculture was the catalyst for complex society and monumental architecture. Göbekli Tepe suggested that the desire to build, to worship, to come together for a shared purpose, may have come first. Perhaps the immense effort of constructing this sanctuary is what spurred the invention of agriculture itself. The need to feed the scores of workers may have been the impetus for cultivating wild grasses. This was a reversal of the Neolithic Revolution narrative, a temple-first theory. The pillars themselves are a gallery of prehistoric art, covered in intricate carvings. These are not random doodles. They are detailed depictions of the world as the builders saw it. We see a menagerie of animals, snarling foxes, powerful bulls, and venomous snakes. Spiders, scorpions, and wild boars also crawl across the stone surfaces. Vultures, birds, often associated with death and excarnation, feature prominently. The artistry is sophisticated, showing a deep understanding of animal anatomy and behavior. These were not just pictures. They were symbols, carriers of meaning and belief. The T-shaped pillars are themselves stylized human figures, an abstract representation of people or gods. Some pillars even have carvings of arms, hands and loincloths, reinforcing their anthropomorphic nature. They stand in silent circles, facing inward as if in a solemn gathering. The enclosures they form are circular or oval, creating sacred, defined spaces. Archaeologists have uncovered several of these enclosures, designated A, B, C, D, and more. Each seems to have its own character, its own set of dominant animal symbols. This might suggest that different clans or groups were responsible for each circle. Perhaps they gathered here, each to their own sanctuary, to perform their unique rituals. The purpose of Göbekli Tepe remains its most profound enigma. There is no evidence of permanent habitation on the hill itself. No hearths for cooking, no houses for living, no middens of domestic waste have been found. This was not a city or a village. It was a place set apart, a destination. Schmidt himself believed it was a cathedral on a hill, a center for a regional death cult. The prevalence of vulture carvings and the discovery of human bone fragments lend some credence to this theory. Perhaps the dead were brought here for ritual exposure, a sky burial performed by the vultures. Other theories suggest it was a place of astronomical observation. The alignment of some pillars and structures hints at a connection to the celestial bodies. Maybe the builders were tracking the stars, marking the seasons, and celebrating cosmic events. It could have been a neutral ground for various hunter-gatherer bands to meet. Here they could have exchanged goods, shared knowledge, and arranged marriages. The act of building together would have forged strong social bonds between disparate groups. The feasts that likely accompanied these gatherings would have been monumental. Evidence of large-scale food preparation, including massive stone troughs, has been found. These troughs could have held hundreds of liters of a primitive beer, a social lubricant for the festivities. The construction itself was a ritual, an act of devotion. After a period of use, each enclosure was deliberately and painstakingly buried. The builders filled the circles with earth, stone and animal bones, entombing them completely. Then, they would often build a new, smaller circle on top or nearby. This act of intentional burial is one of the site's strangest aspects. Why would they expend so much energy to create these magnificent structures only to bury them? Was it a way of decommissioning the sacred space? Of putting it to rest? Or was it a cyclical ritual? A symbolic act of death and rebirth? The burial preserved the site in astonishing condition for over 11,000 years. It is a time capsule from a world we are only just beginning to understand. Göbekli Tepe forces us to reconsider the intelligence and spiritual depth of our Stone Age ancestors. They were not the brutish cavemen of popular imagination. They were organized, creative, and driven by complex beliefs. They possessed a sophisticated understanding of engineering and stoneworking. They managed a large workforce over extended periods, a feat of social organization. The site predates pottery, writing, and the wheel by millennia. It emerged from a pre-agricultural world, a world of nomadic hunters. The questions raised by Göbekli Tepe are as numerous as its pillars. Who were these people, and what language did they speak? What specific myths and stories did the animal carvings represent? Why did they choose this specific hill for their sacred constructions? What led to the site's final abandonment and burial around 8000 BC? As excavations continue, new discoveries add more layers to the mystery. Only a small fraction of the entire complex has been unearthed so far. Geophysical surveys reveal that at least 15 more enclosures lie waiting beneath the soil. The full extent of Göbekli Tepe is still unknown, its secrets still guarded by the earth. It stands as a silent monument to a pivotal moment in human history. It is a testament to the power of shared ideas and collective action. The stones of Göbekli Tepe do not speak in words, but they tell a powerful story. They tell of a time when humanity first dared to build something larger than itself. They speak of a spiritual revolution that preceded the agricultural one. They challenge our definitions of civilization and progress. The enigma of Göbekli Tepe is not just about the past. It is about our own origins. It reminds us that the roots of our complex societies run deeper than we ever imagined. It is a place of wonder, a source of endless questions, and a window into a lost world. The sun rises over the Anatolian plains, casting long shadows from the ancient stones. Each pillar is a sentinel, a guardian of a forgotten faith. The wind whispers through the circles, carrying echoes of ancient chants. The carvings seem to flicker in the changing light, their stories just beyond our grasp. We are left to wonder at the minds and hands that shaped this sacred hill. Their legacy is written in stone, a puzzle for the ages. The world's oldest temple remains its greatest archaeological mystery. It is a powerful reminder of how much we still have to learn. The journey into the meaning of Göbekli Tepe has only just begun. The site continues to be a focal point for research and debate. Every new find prompts a re-evaluation of our current understanding. Discovery of a painted wild boar statue adds another piece to the puzzle. Human skulls, with deliberate modifications, suggest complex funerary rituals. These were not simple burials, but elaborate, multi-stage processes. The people of Göbekli Tepe had a rich and complex symbolic world. Their art was not merely decorative. It was integral to their worldview. The structures were likely aligned with specific astronomical events, such as the solstices. This implies a sophisticated knowledge of the sky and its cycles. The effort to build Göbekli Tepe would have required a stable food source. This supports the theory that the construction itself drove the development of agriculture. The site may have been a pilgrimage destination for people across the region. The social cohesion required for the project was unprecedented. It represents a major transition in human social evolution. The abandonment of the site is as mysterious as its creation. Perhaps a new belief system emerged, rendering the old ways obsolete. Or maybe the climate changed, forcing the population to move elsewhere. The careful burial suggests a deliberate and final act of closure. The builders were sealing a chapter of their history. Göbekli Tepe is a bridge to a distant and formative period of human existence. It connects us to the dawn of religion and organized society. The site's preservation is a remarkable gift to modern archaeology. It allows us a rare glimpse into the minds of our Neolithic ancestors. The symbolism of the animals remains a topic of intense speculation. Were they clan totems, spirit guides, or fearsome deities? The fox appears frequently, perhaps as a trickster figure in their mythology. The vulture's association with death seems clear, but its exact role is debated. The absence of female figures in the carvings is also a notable point of discussion. The focus at Göbekli Tepe seems to be on the masculine, the wild, and the predatory. The pillars themselves, with their T-shape, could represent a deity or ancestor. Their faceless nature makes them universal and enigmatic. They stand as a silent congregation, frozen in time. The quarry where the pillars were cut is located nearby. We can still see unfinished pillars, abandoned in the process of being extracted. This gives us insight into their quarrying and transportation techniques. They use flint tools to chip away at the limestone, a slow and laborious process. Moving the massive stones to the hilltop would have required immense manpower and ingenuity. Ropes, rollers, and brute force were likely their primary tools. The social structure must have been complex enough to manage such large-scale projects. There must have been leaders, planners, and skilled artisans. This challenges the traditional view of hunter-gatherer societies as simple and egalitarian. Göbekli Tepe shows they were capable of great complexity and hierarchy. The site is a testament to the human capacity for vision and cooperation. It is a story of how we began to reshape the world around us. The legacy of Göbekli Tepe is not just in its stones, but in the questions it forces us to ask. It pushes us to rethink the very origins of our journey as a species. The mystery endures, drawing us back to this sacred hill time and time again. It is a puzzle that may never be fully solved. And perhaps that is its ultimate power. The enduring enigma of Göbekli Tepe continues to inspire awe and wonder. It is a profound link to our shared human heritage. The silent stones hold their secrets close, waiting for future generations to decipher their meaning. The wind blows across the hill, a timeless witness to the rise and fall of this extraordinary place. The story is far from over.